There we go. That's that. Hey, Void. Wow, Void. Thank you for popping in, Void. Good to see you. Cool. And then we have a recap. Thank you guys so much for popping in over on Twitch so early. I just started. I'm still setting up. I just need a quick moment. Get all my windows set up. Yeah, hey guys. Tonight we're doing Shrine Tribal. Our commander is going to be Go Shinte. Hey guys, if there are any audio issues, could you let me know? I know there were some problems yesterday and I didn't quite get to it. Over on Twitch, can you hear me okay? I'm glad you like this commander. So the poll we did on the Discord server the other day was for commanders I don't like. And Go Shintai is one of those commanders I don't like. I'm not a big fan of Shrine Tribal, mostly because I stay losing to the Shrine deck. Shrine decks are intense, they're hardcore, they run off this enchantment type called Shrines, and they all help each other. They're kind of like a version of Slivers if they were built around effects or abilities. They're like enchantment Slivers. Alright, so... Cool, alright, so... Void, thank you very much for helping me with the audio check over on Twitch. Alright guys, hello everybody, I am Bigger Gayer Magic, and tonight on Live Deck Building, we're doing Shrine Tribal. Our commander today is Go Shintai of Life's Origin, and let's get Shrine. And this thing says that you can pay 5 and then return target. Very much, I'm a video editor, we're doing Shrine Tribal. Very much, I'm a video editor, we're doing Shrine Tribal. So we're just gonna pull up a shrine to get us started, because we don't have any suggestions yet. If you guys have any suggestions for our Shrine Tribal deck, put them in the comments. If you see your card over here, it'll be put into a Moxfield deck list, and y'all can check those out on the link tree. This is a common red shrine from... This thing says that you may pay 1 mana. It deals X damage to target player or planeswalker where X is the got. So this thing is an end step trigger to deal X damage to a target where that's the amount of shrines you got. It's great. When it enters, it's going to make us a shrine off our commander. If we got this thing, our commander out, we're going to have a total of 3 shrines. This thing's end step trigger is going to deal 3 damage. We got a little lightning bolt going on. It's cool. All the uncommon shrines that were printed in the Kamigawa block are playable. They're all good. You really need to be running all the shrines. There's not too many shrine cards floating out there in MTG. This is the green uncommon that was printed in the Neon Dynasty Kamigawa set. This is a 2-mana green shrine. It's a 1/1 with trample. And at the beginning of your end step, you can pay 1, and if you do, you put a +1/+1 counter on target shrine for each shrine you got. This thing's great. It's going to enter. It's going to make us a shrine off our commander over here. It's real good, and it itself has trample. It really wants those +1/+1 counters. Do we have any suggestions yet? Stan Hughes says, I made that commander 2 years ago, and he is my favorite commander still to date. Stan, I'm so happy that you had a good time with your Shrines deck. We actually pulled our Shrines theme for tonight off the Discord server where we did a poll, and it was a poll of commanders I don't like. And we did... What did we do yesterday? We didn't do... Well, we kind of did... We did Eldrazi yesterday. And then we did... Slivers was the other one, and the last one was Shrines. And so tonight we did Shrines over Slivers, because Slivers makes me sad. We are looking for a Sanctum of All. Sanctum of All. I think that's the 5-color shrine. So Sanctum of All was kind of a Rule 0 commander, the Rule 0 shrine commander for a long time. Before we had Go Shintai of Life's Origin over here, this thing was the only 5-color shrine, and it was legendary. And people would Rule 0 it for their commander, so they can run a Shrines theme in the command zone. This thing's cool. It says at the beginning of your upkeep, you may search your library and or graveyard for a Shrine card, put it onto the battlefield. If you search your library this way, you shuffle it, and if ability of a Shrine you control would trigger, it gains. And if you control 6 more Shrines, you get an additional trigger. It's like Shrine Harmonicon. It can give you additional triggers off your Shrines. Unfortunately, for the Kamigawa Shrines, the one that you do have to pay mana for, you do have to pay the mana for the additional triggers. It's cool. It's good. Can y'all hear me okay on TikTok? How's the audio? Hey everybody, I'm Bigger Gayer Magic. I do live deck building. If you have a suggestion for our Shrines Tribal Commander deck, please put it in the comments, y'all. If you see your command, or if you see a card over here, it'll be put into a Moxfield deck list, and you can see everybody else's suggestions on the Moxfield page as well. Sithis Harvest Hand is a cool little 2-mana Enchantress commander. We've built Sithis on live deck building before. She's a house, she's great, she draws crazy amounts of cards, and she gains life. Her trigger says that whenever you cast yourself an enchantment, you gain 1 life, you draw yourself a card. This thing's good. It itself is a 1/2 for 2 mana in relevant enchantment colors. There's a lot of white enchantments that can help protect enchantments and that also care about enchantments. Shrines are enchantments. Sithis Harvest Hand is great. And it's also going to be getting us a bunch of card draw. If you want to play Commander, you need your deck to draw cards just to have a relevant deck. And Sithis can do that. And Sithis is often just all the card draw you need if you get her out in the early game and you're drawing something to replace every spell you cast. Sithis provides a lot of value. And she's cheap. She's been reprinted a bunch of times. This version's only $3. Time to pull up that deck list. Uh-oh, Matten. Thoughts on Gigantha? I like Gigantha, Alaskan Love. I like Gigantha. Let's pull up Gigantha. Gigantha. Thank you very much, Alaskan Love, for the suggestion of Gigantha over on Twitch. If you guys would like to help me grow my Twitch platform and help me make a little coins off my content, please jump on over to Twitch and give me a follow. I appreciate it very much. This is Gigantha. It's a 5-mana legendary commander, and this thing taps for crazy amounts of mana. It has companion, meaning that we can have it in the command zone if we meet this thing's companion requirement in the deck building process. This thing also says that we can tap for 5 mana, and it can't be spent to pay generic mana costs. So it can only be used to spend mana on colored pips and mana costs, not the generic number ones, just the colorful ones. This thing's cool. I like Gigantha a lot. Gigantha's seen a few reprints. He's got a lot of fancy arts. He's a good time. I really like him. He's a cool elk. I really like the Martial Machines reprint of Gigantha as well. Fabled Master 1023 says, also great combo is Enchanted Evening. Enchanted Evening is a cool enchantment. I think it kind of protects your board, right? Yeah, Enchanted Evening. It says that all permanents are enchantments in addition to their other types. Alarms are going off. When you see this on the battlefield, someone's about to commit a crime. What's the other part of this combo? You said a Aura Shards. Oh god, Aura Shards. Oh no, Aura Shards. Aura Shards says that whenever a creature comes into play under your control, you may destroy target artifact or enchantment. And if we have Enchanted Evening out on the battlefield, when our creatures enter, we can just destroy permanents. And I imagine if we make a crap ton of creatures, we would eventually just destroy lands. If we want to be that person, if we want to run Enchanted Evening, we could do that. Aura Shards is just a crazy-ass enchantment. This thing's insane. It's in Selesnya colors, it's 3 mana, it's $13, and it says when creatures enter, you just pop things. This card is so intense. This thing gets rid of so many things throughout the course of a Commander game. It is hardcore. It must be removed, especially if you aren't an enchantment or an artifact theme. This thing's got to go. This thing's gonna end a game. If they can put tokens on the board at instant speed, they have instant speed board wipes for your shit. This thing's crazy. It's $13 and it hoses me every time. I might have. It's good. It's a good card. Bad Luck Jack says, so sad that the red and blue companion got banned. I know, right? Yeah, so the red and blue companion was an otter, and it said that when it entered the battlefield, you copy target instant or, like, sorcery, right? Alright, so you said Calming Verse. Is this Calming Verse? Calming Verse. Okay, Calming Verse is a 4-mana green sorcery that says destroy all enchantments you don't control, and then if you control an untapped land, destroy all enchantments you control. Okay, this thing's intense. This thing is intense for 40 cents. Oh my gosh. This thing's hardcore. Okay, this feels very fair to me, though. It's a sorcery, right? So we're not doing this nonsense at instant speed. It's a sorcery speed. It's 40 cents, and it is 4 mana. 4 mana is like the kind of the low end for destroy all enchantments or artifacts you don't control on that kind of effect. Normally, we see those effects more at like 5 and 6 mana. It's also in mono green, so it's really unrestrictive in what deck you want to put it. This card's actually great. I like this a lot, especially if your friends are leaning really hard into enchantments nowadays. Maybe Duskmourn came out a few months ago. This thing is cool. Maybe you're tired of seeing their Doors deck. I quite like it. It reminds me of a bear card from Martial Machines that does a similar thing, except it hits artifacts as well. Teleportation Circle. Teleportation Circle is cool. So Teleportation Circle is kind of like the premier blink effect, right? It's a cool little artifact. I think it's like 4 mana. Teleportation is a hard word to spell. So T-E-L-E, portation. Teleportation. Teleportation Circle. Oh, it's not an artifact. I was wrong. Excuse me. Teleportation Circle is the white blink enchantment. This thing says at the beginning of your end step, you exile up to 1 target artifact, creature you control, and then you return that card to the battlefield under its owner's control. So you get it. So if you want to hit something with an enter the battlefield trigger with your Teleportation Circle, you want a creature that like Solemn Simulacrum or something that when it enters, it does a thing. That way you can get it to do the thing again when you resolve the teleportation trigger. It's also relevant in the way, in regards to creature entering, because Go Shintai of Life's Origin over here says that whenever Go Shintai of Life's Origin or another non-token shrine comes into the battlefield. Yeah, so we can get multiple shrines to enter off this thing. We can get multiple entering shrines to trigger, and then we'll get more shrines. And the more shrines we have, the more bigger and the more splashy our shrine triggers are gonna go off. This thing's very cool. It's also an enchantment, and we're running plenty of enchantment synergies in the deck today. It's great. Good suggestion. Thank you. All right. Then, cool. So our next suggestion from Twitch is gonna be a mana web. Void, what the hell is a mana web? Mana web is loading. Okay. Hello everyone, I'm BGM. I'm a video editor and streamer, and on live we do live deck building. If you want to suggest a card for our commander tonight, it is Go Shintai of Life's Origin. It's a 5-color Shrines commander. This here is Mana Web. It's a 3-mana colorless artifact that says whenever a land target opponent controls is tapped for mana, tap all lands he or she controls that can produce any type of mana that land can produce. I hate it. I hate it a lot, actually. It forces your opponents to tap all their lands, pretty much. It's probably why it's $16. That's a really punishing effect. You know, it seems like the better, like, the more painful a card is, the more money it's worth. Or, you know, like, the more upsetting it is for your opponents, the higher the price tag is. That thing's nuts, Void. Who do you play with, Void? Are they your friends or are they your victims? So Fable Master over on TikTok says an Elish Norn Melder of Machine. So yeah, Elish Norn would be crazy, but this is also another really mean card. Elish Norn, God, I hate that Moxfield does it in Phyrexian. Lucky for you guys, I can read this. This is Elish Norn Melder of Machines. It's a 5-mana white spell. It says that creatures and permanents entering the battlefield under our control, causing abilities to trigger, those abilities trigger an additional time. So things entering the battlefield happen twice for us, and it says that things entering the battlefield under our opponent's control don't happen at all. It's great. It's $30. It was printed in March in the machines. The community refers to her as Mommy or Mother. I like to call her Mother. Alright, our next suggestion over on Twitch from Frost Ace is Amanatu. Amanatu, the Veil Piercer. Veil Piercer. It's kind of funny that they called her the Veil Piercer, like, at the same time the Dragon Age the Veilguard was coming out. Alright, Veil Piercer, Amanatu. This thing was printed in the Duskmourn precon. It was the face commander for the Esper enchantment Duskmourn precon. It's great. Amanatu in the lore actually used to be a planeswalker. This thing's 4 mana. It's a 2/4. Says at the beginning of your upkeep, your Surveil 2. Excuse me. And each enchantment card in your graveyard... Wait, each enchantment card in your hand has Miracle. Its Miracle cost is equal to its mana cost reduced by 4. That's pretty good. Okay, that's pretty good. So, that is 4, right? Not 1. I can't see. I want to say that's 4. Very cool. It's cost reduction. It's cost reduction. And it's Surveils. It can help you fill your graveyard with Surveil triggers. It's aggressively costed at 4 mana. The art is especially cool. It's important to mention that shrines are not a creature type, so anything that cares about creature types does not function in this deck. You are correct, Void. It's not a creature type. It's something else that I don't know, but it's not a creature type. You are correct. Fable Master says, exile Life's Origin and then make a ton of shrine tokens because of all my token doublers. Honestly based. Yeah, we can run all the enchantment token doublers in this. There's also Aura Thief and Enchanted Evening. Aura Thief. Aura Thief. Aura Thief. The hell is an Aura Thief? Aura Thief is a 4-mana blue creature with flying. When Aura Thief is put into a graveyard from play, you gain control of all enchantments, period, full stop. This thing's cool. This thing feels fine to me. I've never seen it played. I've never seen this thing on the battlefield. It's mean. I feel like you would run it in like a deck that wants to sacrifice creatures to get that death trigger. It's cool. It's a vibe. It's a little mean. Especially if you're running it in like a Muldrotha deck where you want to be sacrificing things multiple turns. You can just be stealing everybody's enchantments all the time in a Muldrotha deck with this thing. Cool card. Kind of mean. Uh-oh. Come on, Internet. I believe in you, Internet. Okay. Teleportation Circle is the white one that we talked about earlier. So, Kept Evergreen says open the vaults. Open the vaults. That says return all artifacts and enchantment cards from all graveyards to the battlefield under their owner's control. This thing's cool. It's 50 cents. This one's from the Fallout expansion. It's worth it to play a few of these in your commander decks just to kind of keep it going in case you get wiped, or maybe you have a mill matchup and your opponents are filling your graveyard for you. This thing could be very spicy in that way. It's cool. I like it. I probably wouldn't run too many of these effects unless we are like really leaning into a graveyard strategy with our deck. I'd probably only run 1 or 2 effects like this in the deck. It's cool. It's also nice because this one's kind and it helps your opponents. Replenish is the better version. Let's talk about Replenish. Replenish. What do you do when you take a can out of the fridge? You replenish. Okay, this thing is $95. It says return all enchantment cards from your graveyard to play. Okay, this thing's cool. It is a 4-mana sorcery. It has a cool art that feels very 90s core. It's $95. I'd recommend a proxy, y'all. That's cool, though. It is the better version just because it does it. And it only does yours. Notable between Replenish and the other card is Replenish only does yours. That's probably why it's like $100. Alright. Honden of Night's Reach. Honden of Night's Reach. Honden of Night's Reach is the Black Shrine. This thing is the uncommon Black Shrine from the original Kamigawa block. This thing is a legendary enchantment shrine, and at the beginning of your upkeep, target opponent discards a card for each shrine. Oh my god, this thing is absolutely disgusting. This thing is awful. I hate this. This thing feels cruel and unusual in a shrine deck, I tell you. Like, you get it out for 4 mana, which is not a lot of mana, especially because our commander's 4 mana, so we're definitely going to get to that really easily and consistently. And then, if we cast this thing after our commander, we're going to have at least 3 shrines. And if we have at least 3 shrines, somebody just has to discard 3 cards, but we're probably not just going to have 3 shrines. We're probably going to have at least like 5 or 6 shrines, and then we're just forcing someone to discard their hand every time this triggers at the beginning of our upkeep. This thing is absolutely disgusting, and I hope our opponents remove it. This thing is a crime. I hate this. I hate this a lot. Great suggestion. If you guys want to see any of the other shrine cards I hate, they're all in the Moxfield deck list. Oh, hey, Dalbus. Dalbus G says a Nyxborn Behemoth. A Nyxborn Behemoth. Now, that's a fair card. I like Nyxborn Behemoth. That feels fair. It feels green. He's a big guy. I love big guys. Nyxborn Behemoth is a green enchantment creature, and it's pricey. I think it's like 8 mana or 6 mana. Nyxborn Behemoth. Nyxborn Behemoth. It's green. It's a creature. It came out in a precon. And, oh wait, it's not the right thing. I was thinking of something else. Okay.